So come to your place, and then maybe just, shift your weight from left to right, bend your knees, flex the hips a little bit, shake the shoulders. If you wish, just tap your body a little bit to establish a mind-body connection. And we'll start the practice with knees slightly bent, which is always a good place to be, because as I said in the past, when the knees are bent, your legs are more engaged. And also just, wiggle your toes, press your toes one after another, from the pinky or from the big toe, doesn't matter. And then just lift the outer feet, inner feet, perhaps lift the heels a bit. And then make sure your abdomen is soft, so you have your natural breathing. And slowly, as if you're trying to reach into the water to grab something, and come up with weight. And open your arms almost like elastic. And from here, expand the back. And keep the back expanding and try to lengthen the front. Create a distance between your collarbones and your pubic bones. And from here, wiggle your tails a bit. Move your shoulders. Move your fingers. Face soft. Breathe into your abdomen. And from here, we're going to go zigzag upwards and until your palms are joining together. If you wish, bring the heels up, face soft, and bring the arms down. Second time. Draw up something with weight, and then elastic. Extend your fingertips as if someone is pulling you. So someone is pulling you to the right, to the left. And then now this time try that is pulling right to the left, coming out from your core. So from the core to the shoulders, from the core to the shoulders. And then spread out the shoulder blade and lengthen the front of the body. Chest towards the ceiling. And then from the core first go to the ribs, and then the other side to the chest, and then back to the shoulders, and through the head, eventually. Bring the palms together, fingertips together. Breathe into your abdomen. One more round. Long back. Keep the back long and lengthen the front. Chest towards the ceiling, as if to receive the sunlight. Face soft, and then wiggles, diagonal. And begin to use your hands to help to pull the back, lifting the shoulders up. And then hands like feathers. Bend the knees, relax the pelvic floor. Use the hands to help lift the back up, and then lift the collarbones, and then the hands, arms, very soft, without weight. And begin to allow your spine to move a little bit more, and begin to feel that you're creating a circular movement. Exactly where the circles are, exactly where the circle is, doesn't matter. Just feel that you are now making a circle. It's not up and down movement, not the front and back. It's all. So find your circular movement slowly to bring this circle more and more towards your lower trunk. Right? So shoulders are not so high anymore. And we'll first establish the circular rise. We begin with the hips bent, knees bent. Straighten up the knees, flatten the hips, bend the knees, flex the hips. Straighten the knees, flat the hips, Knees bent, hips bent. Knees up, hips open, knees down, hips close. Find these 4 corners, each time very clear. It's back and up and front and down, and then down and back. And slowly allow these 4 corners to merge into a circle. So you still go to all the points, but try to make it into a smooth circle. So you pass by the 4 points, but you are not making a diamond. You're making a circle. And during this time, try to relax. Relax the face. The shoulders are dropped. The face is soft. Fingers can move. And you're just, breathe naturally. You're not trying to coordinate your breathing with the movement, but rather you just allow your breathing to come in and out naturally. And then slowly begin to feel how this movement, now coming from a coordination of hip and knee movement, now this more of a core movement. You're really just rolling your lower trunk. And begin to allow your spine to involve a little bit more. So here you're bending the spine forward. Now you lengthen the spine. Now you are back arch the spine. Now you're again lengthen the back. You flex the spine here. You lengthen the back here. You lengthen the front here. And then you extend the spine here. So spine goes to 4 different phrases. Flex, lengthen the back, lengthen the front. Now it's a back arch. So flex the spine, lift the shoulder blades, lift the collarbones, and then draw the pubic bone down and forward. Flex the spine, lift the shoulder blades, lift the collarbones, lengthen the pubic bones, and then flex. And try to begin to feel that your spine is like a seaweed. Very, very soft. Not a seaweed on the kitchen counter, but seaweed in the water. In the water. So now as you flex the spine, begin to feel that the spine is actually going it's actually moving in many, many segments, not just one piece. And we're going to try to move the spine in 3 sections. Now with the next flex the spine, bring the top of the hips back, expand the lower back, bring the lower ribs in, expand the kidneys, chest in, spread out the shoulder blades, and then lift the shoulders up. Now you lengthen the spine in the back. Now lengthen the spine in the front. And begin to bring the navel forward and up, rib cage forward and up, chest forward and up. Create distance between your collarbones and your pubic bones. Wiggles a little bit, breathe into your abdomen, and then flex the spine. Three sections. Lift the back, lift the front 3 sections. Lengthen the back and front. Arch the back, 3 sections. Flex the spine. Shoulder blades up, collarbones up, navel forward, rib cage, chest. Top of the hips back, rib cage in, chest in. Lengthen the spine. And then create space between pubic bone and collarbones. Top of the hips back, ribcage in. Get a chance to expand your kidneys. Lengthen, lengthen. Extend the spine, flex the spine. One more time, 3 sections. Now we're going to use the hands again to help. Bring the hands up, lift the collarbones, and then keep the collarbones up and draw the pubic bone down. Lift the back and lift the collarbones, keep the shoulders up, bring the pubic bone down to lengthen the belly. Shoulders up, collarbones up, pubic bone down. Pubic bone down. We're going to challenge ourselves a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of squat. So do it at your own capability. You can bend less, you can bend more. And then bring the pubic bone down and then flex the spine. Lengthen the back, lengthen the front, pubic bone down, flex the spine. When you flex the spine, think of your first cue. It's actually not just bending the hips, but bring the top of the hips back to bend the spine before you bend the hips. You see this? Top of the hips back, bend the spine, bend the hips. And back to just to maintain the circular movement. Calm yourself down. Relax the face. Abdomen soft. We're going to take a little moment to recover. We'll go from one side to the other. It's still the same circular movement, but if now you have two, almost like you are moving as if your whole body is a wheelchair. You have two wheels on either side. But of course they don't run at the same time. The right side roll, left side roll is always rolling forward. I mean, you just use this gentle movement to recover. Shift the weight. Shifting the weight help you to move the spine a little bit more. You also move the hips. And then may also make your movement more rich, because then you have a little bit of a twisting movement. You also have a little bit of side lengthening movement. Depends on what do you want to emphasize. But all this time, make sure you're doing everything the easiest way. Takes least energy. You breathe naturally. And then, if you will, create small movement with your fingers. We have big movement with the arms, with the shoulders. But create small movement with the fingers. Fold the fingers, unfold the fingers. Fold the elbows, unfold the elbows. You can also do a little bit more internal rotation, external rotation, so that your movement is more rich. You're actually handling the gravity a little bit better if you create this small movement. You don't feel that you have to lift the arms so much. So everything is much lighter and more natural. So we're going to continue with this movement. But now, only one side. This is my right, but it doesn't matter. If you're on your left, just go ahead. And see that the same upward, rising, circular movement is still here. So here you flex the hips, flex the knees, and then straighten up the knees, flatten the hips, bend the knees, and then flex the hips. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see how I change my weight. Now my weight is in the back, in the center, in the front, in the center. In the back, in the center, in the front, in the center. Lengthen the back, lengthen the front more, and then flex. Also notice this lengthening, especially lengthening the front, is diagonal. The front foot, the foot that is you're going towards, and it's to your opposite shoulders. So you lift these shoulders up, and then try to create a diagonal length, create length this way, and then flex. Bend the knees, bend the hips. Straighten the knees, bend the knees, bend the hips. Now make it into a more of a spinal, not just spinal movement, but involve the spine a little bit more. And see if you can still make out the 3 sections. You have 3 sections to extend, 3 sections to bend. And all the time, notice, you're maintaining this circular movement. So for those of you who would like a little bit more, we're going to do some squat. You're going to squat to the front, to the center, and then come up. Squat towards the front, and then center, come up. When you squat, you bend the hips a lot. So make sure you try to find some ways so you can still bend the spine. Keep the mouth closed. Breathe into your tummy. Now we come back. It's the same movement. You're rolling to the right, to the left, with a little bit of twisting. And also do this movement. And then think about it at the same time. How is this movement is relating to walking? Very similar, isn't it? I can always step my foot out and begin to walk about in the room. But everything is soft. Again, try to create small movement, tiny movement with the shoulder blade, with the collarbones. See how the collarbones is lifting one after the other. Maybe you just lift a little bit more. And you can curl your fingers and open. And wiggle your toes just tiny bit. Change the angle of your heels. Small movement to make the whole movement more alive. And intentionally relax. Every time breathe into your abdomen. Relax the pelvic floor. Relax the lower back. If possible, breathe in there. Try to expand it. Expand those areas you want to breathe into. Now we're gonna do the second side. Now establish the same circular movement in diagonal. And then begin to find a 4 point. Straighten the knees, straighten the hips, and then bend the knees in the front, flex the hips in the center. Back, up, forward, and down. Back, up, forward, and down. Notice how this movement changed the weight very nicely. You want to allow the weight to shift. It's very good. Any movement you're doing, you want to try to, to increase the shifting of your weight. And see how that affects your hip movement and your spine movement. Now we begin try to stretch the front of the body diagonally. Lift the shoulder, lift the collarbones, and then stretch the pubic bone towards the knees, and then flex. The weight is in the back, in the center, in the front, in the center. Back, in the center, front, center. Lengthen. This is my left shoulder, this is my right. So I'm keeping my left shoulders and then the front, the right knee apart, creating distance between these two points. And stretch your pubic bone towards the toe. Now a little bit of squat. Take it easy. Face soft, breathe naturally. Be careful with your knees, your ankles. Always keep an eye on how your body feels. Keep the mouth closed. Breathe with your nose only. Now we come back again. Use this time to find this water element in your movement. Everything is fluid. Everything is fluid. And try to create waves. This wave that just push the one in the front and just continue going on and on like a ripple, right? So not very little effort, but find this watery, this wavy movement. There's no straight line. There's no straight line. Everything is curvy. To try to make as many curves as you can manage. Your fingers are making curves. Your spine is making curves. Your shoulders, everything. You have movement all over your body. Every joint of your body is moving. Your face is relaxed. Now finish up. Continue with the watery movement. Don't worry about the forms or symmetry. Do what your body feels like. But you stick with some kind of a loose form where you're reaching up and you can come to the center on the top of the heels, and slowly you descend, but at the same time you are lifting as well. You're floating, and then go down, reach beyond the floor,